Joining me today is Paul West-Sells, President and Chief Operating Officer of Western Copper and Gold. Western Copper and Gold is a Vancouver-based exploration and development company whose flagship project is the Casino Project located in west central Yukon. Western trades in the TSX and the U.S. under the symbols WRN.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, as I look at any story, a few key factors, and I'd like to take this opportunity maybe to tell new investors or current shareholders, maybe recap the management team, and talk about what you've assembled there, and maybe some of the prior successes you've had, and maybe any key directors you might have.
Certainly. Western Copper and Gold really is it's a spin-out of Western Silver, and Western Silver, if you go back, is the company that developed the Penasquito asset. And the Penasquito asset is a large gold mine located in Mexico that is now owned by Goldcorp and represents about 35% of the net asset value of Goldcorp. So that team from Western Silver continued on with Western Copper and Gold. So really, you've got a team here with Western Copper and Gold that has that big project experience, has the experience and background of taking large projects, developing them, doing the engineering, and really creating great shareholder value. And Dale Corman, our chairman and CEO, is the same chairman and CEO from Western Silver, and the engineering team is the same. So it's essentially the same Western Silver team, just trying to do it all over again here with the Casino Project.
Sure, and the Casino Project, if you wouldn't mind highlighting that, and maybe talk about a little bit about doing business in the Yukon, the opportunities there.
Sure. Casino is a great project. It's a large copper gold porphyry. We're looking at 18 million ounces of gold, 10 billion pounds of copper in terms of the total resource. We've taken this project now from when we first got it. It had a bit of a resource. We finished drilling it out. We did pre-feasibility studies, full bankable feasibility study, which we issued beginning of 2013, so last year. And we're pleased to announce that this week on Monday we announced that we've entered the permitting process and started the project on that. And so we expect to have this project permitted and ready for construction in about 2 years from now. And you touched on the Yukon, and we love being up in the Yukon. Obviously, everyone likes to have mining projects that are in North America and in Canada and the U.S. because they're politically stable jurisdictions. The trick is really getting them permitted, and sometimes that can take quite a while. The real advantage that we see in the Yukon is that it's got its own permitting regime. Projects get permitted quickly. Compared to other jurisdictions in Canada and the U.S. And the proof is that there's been 4 mining projects permitted in the last 6 years.
If anyone's entering the story here or looking to get involved, or certainly want to put you on the watch list, what can they keep their eye out for as far as news flow and maybe any catalysts or any milestones for the company in 2014?
Yeah, well, 2014, and I would say 2014 and the first part of 2015, really, this is a world-class asset, a world-class copper gold project. As we get closer to having the project fully permitted, the engineering is done, and as we get closer to have the permitting done, this project will, what we're going to be working on is getting the project, figuring out how the project will be financed and built. And so that will be, either bringing on a partner or selling the project outright. So that, the timeline that's going to happen is probably the second half of this year and the first half of 2015. So those are going to be obviously will be a huge catalyst in terms of movement of the share price. And that's really going to be our focus once we get now that the permitting is underway. We're going to double check that it's going along smoothly, and then shift our effort and our focus onto what is the team of companies that is going to finance and build this mine.
Well, no reason to restate the obvious, but it's been a rough couple of years for the sector, and gold and silver are chopping here. What on a personal level, what are your thoughts as far as maybe the sector, the TSX, and the markets in general, and obviously the precious metals?
Yeah. So I mean, in terms of the market, I mean, as you said, no use restating the obvious. It's been a tough couple of years. The companies that have done well are the ones that have money in the bank, and we're one of them. We're sitting with we ended Q3 with about $26 million in the bank, which for a junior mining company such as ourselves is sufficient funds to last us for about 3 years. So, we can comfortably ride out this storm. But the advantage of this is that this is a great time to enter the space. There's great bargains out there, and I think that everyone would agree. Everyone knows the sector is down and know there are great bargains. The question are which ones are going to make it through and which ones are going to go up the most. And that's where I would argue that Western looks good because we do have the great project and we do have the cash. And the other thing is, looking forward, I'm a pretty big copper bull, and it's really, 2013 was supposed to be the year that there was going to be a surplus of copper, and the price of copper was going to, drop down into the $2 and change level. Well, it didn't drop below $3. So now that we're into 2014, and this copper that was supposed to come online in 2013 has come online, and there's a little bit more coming on in 2014. But really the market is moving out of a perceived surplus into a perceived deficit in terms of copper, and I think we're going to see some pretty big movement in copper price. Again, I think it's going to start in the second half of 2014 and then into 2015.
Paul West-Sells, President and Chief Operating Officer of Western Copper and Gold. Thanks for sharing your story.
Thank you.